We are going to continue our discussion concerning divorce. We're going to be taking a different path here. We're going to be going toward the subject of non-custodial parent and a number of other things that we wanted to talk about with Tiffany. Tiffany is on her IG page. Her IG page is at From Divorce to Destiny. From Divorce to Destiny is her page, her IG page. Tiffany is kind of going to be taking us on a journey of what she went through, but she has a number of different perspectives. But some food for thought to keep in mind when you are supporting a friend that is going through divorce. They may need some assistance, maybe around their home. Be mindful of that. Be mindful that they may need some help with their car. They may need help in a number of other aspects of just living day to day. But please be mindful that when someone is going through a difficult time, like divorce, they may also need some assistance when it comes to just being listened to allowing them to get their opportunity to express themselves, to speak their mind to someone. Please be mindful of that. The other thing to keep in mind is that the children also need some support. A sense of isolation, a sense of being alone, no one caring can come into play. So the children, small children, teenagers, they also need some support. Please be mindful that if you have a friend that has gone through divorce, if your friend has gone through a divorce, they may need support by having things done for them around their home. How you doing, Tiffany? How you doing? How you doing?
Hi.
A person that's gone through divorce, if you have a friend, a family member, there's a lot of things that can come into play. And just to repeat that one more time, please be mindful if your friends are going through a divorce, they need support. Car may need to be checked on, may need an oil change, the tires may need to be checked. They may need repairs done around the home. There are a lot of little things that can come into play that can be done to support someone who is going through a divorce or that is trying to recover from a divorce. But more importantly, they need to be heard. Anyone that goes through any type of emotional situation, and we all do each and every day, we go through emotional situations. But something that is heavy, like a divorce or going through a divorce, can wreak havoc on a person's self-esteem and their emotions. So please be mindful that if you know someone like that, don't distance yourself from them, but be there as a friend to support them. Support the children. Make sure that the children have some type of friendship. That's somebody saying hi to you there?
Yeah.
Okay. So please keep that in mind, everyone. I will mention this again through some other channels and platforms that I have that are coming into place and that I have right now. But this aspect of divorce is very important. The children, the teenagers, they need support. They need to get out. They need to be heard. They need to vent. They need to make a way through this muck and mud situation, yucky situation that is divorce. You were talking about something that I totally forgot because I'm old.
Come on.
I'm throwing out there. It's just going like it's there. I'm trying to pull it from where, and no matter how much I move my head, there's nothing back there. That's all. But I do have things in front of me that I do want to ask you about. You said a word that I truly appreciated in the pre-show prep, the video chat. You use this phrase, but mainly the word untangling. You talked about untangling the shame and the guilt. Now, I really want to delve into this subject, but I told you we're not going to spend a lot today about the religious guilt. The untangling the shame and the guilt you brought up when we were talking pre-show prep about the religious guilt surrounding divorce. And you also mentioned not just your religious background, but you mentioned something even concerning the Muslim background. You kind of highlighted. We were talking
Yeah.
about. What did you mean when you were highlighting that to me? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's one of the commonalities that we have as humans is that so many of the world religions focus on divorce as being especially bad or sinful or unforgivable, kind of, it's the one of the ultimate failures in so many religions. And whenever we're dealing with these religious kind of prescriptions or laws, we need to look at the why. We need to look at the surrounding context. We need to look at the reasons behind. And I think because so many of us have grown up in countries where religion was really the foundation of a lot of the way we structured society. The entire West was built in very kind of Judeo-Christian principles. And of course, you have the Africa, the Middle East, large parts of Asia that are hugely Muslim. The way the family structure is portrayed and identified, you're breaking the family structure. The prescribed family structure is seen as a huge offense. And then trying to translate that into modern life and what family looks like today, or what we really want family to look like. I think right now we're at this evolutionary shift where, it doesn't make sense to us anymore to live kind of by very black and white life prescriptions and structures for family, but we are trying to add dimension and color and intention to, what is it that we want to create in the future. But we still have the remnants of guilt and shame that have come from generations of being taught a certain thing about, well, it doesn't even need to be a teaching. It can just be the way somebody says, oh, they're divorced. Or they're, oh, they've been married twice. Or they, little things like that inform the way we feel about ourselves or other people when they're going through divorce. And I think what you touched upon earlier was so beautiful. It's, divorce is scary to so many people because they don't know what to do with it. They know it's bad. They know you've done something bad. They're not quite sure, if it was really bad, or if they should talk about it, or if they should, if we should surround it with shame and therefore not talk about it.
Right.
People would be afraid to talk to me about it and ask me, oh, how is your divorce going? Are you okay? Because it's so shameful that we can't talk about it. When the first thing that I needed for them to do was ask me how I was doing. And ask when we look at each other as sacred humans on these journeys, instead of rule abiders and rule breakers, so to speak, we see that for many people, divorce is actually a wonderful part of them breaking out of somewhere that they needed to surpass in perhaps some way they had been kept small, some way they had been mistreating or not valuing themselves. And divorce was their stepping stone to actually valuing themselves and allowing themselves to grow and become bigger. So, but it takes a lot to break through that guilt and that shame when you kind of, you feel it in the air, in society around, but it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it would be. And it's funny because when I was in Thailand, I had this missionary couple I really looked up to. I had been trying to help out this mission that was reaching out to prostitutes in Thailand and giving them vocational training to be able to sell arts and crafts and find healthier, less risky ways of making a living for their families that they were supporting. And this beautiful couple had just done an amazing work, people I really respected. And they were good friends. And they were some of the people that I went to for guidance and wisdom. And when I went to tell this woman that I was wanting to get a divorce, and she backed me up on that, being probably the most respected religious person that I knew, that was a huge relief, because I felt like the entire church at that time would be against me when in reality, this woman who was very spiritually wise was fully behind my leaving. So, you know, we can find grace there too.
The aspect of the again with the pre-show prep, when you said it, I tried to contain my intrigue when you said it, and I tried to keep my head down and just keep writing and go like, okay, stay calm, because that is so cool. I want to do a whole show on that. I want to do a whole show on the untangling of the shame and the guilt, as you're talking about right now, puts a person in such an isolation that if somebody has not gone through it, it can be devastating, not just to a person's self-esteem, especially a woman, because I'm taking this whole show on the perspective of a woman, of how a woman can be put in such a hole. It does not matter if she had been Miss America. It does not matter. She gets, you know, it's like a mental health sticker. You know, it's like if they come and put a mental health sticker. There's no such thing, by the way. If they put like a sticker on you, you're like, oh, you got to see a therapist. Let me just put that sticker on your head right there. Right there. Stay still. Okay, now you're marked. And it's the same thing with divorce, right? The same thing. And the person.
Letter.
Yes, on the letter. Yeah, the person can be extremely innocent and recognize that this other person, or as we talked about in the first set of this show, you know, they were used. They went in as a team. My parents put it. You know, they were married till they died. Okay, that's a wholly different generation. Now you got people. They throw away people like whatever. And the person could have just been literally, as it were, emotionally thrown away, and the kids. The woman could literally be thrown away, and the kids. Okay, we all, no matter what spectrum, I don't care if she was in a straitjacket. Okay, certain things can just seem like wrong. You just, when you hear it, but when you take a person who's innocent and they are making this decision, they've moved down this path, a person will judge that person on their own decisions and say they shouldn't do that. And that's what stuck in my mind when you said that someone else will go, you shouldn't do that. You're going to do whatever, everybody's going to do whatever they're going to do. Now, why they do it, their motive behind doing it, and how much it plays into their religious structure and background, those we can have another set of shows on that, because now we get into another aspect, as I kind of highlighted before. But what I wanted to really focus on is that a person can go through a divorce, and it's what you just said. It's like you can't even bring it up to anybody. It's like it's almost as if you've got this virus. You've got this virus, and I've got clients, and the woman to tell me, and it's actually sad. To me, it's sad. It's like, and they won't invite me over, and they won't, and my kids, they won't talk with my kids, and I'm going, and I'm in a session with them, and I'm going like, this is awful. This is bad. And that's why I said what I said earlier.
No, I mean,
and she was the one that was the innocent part. She was the innocent person in the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
He was the one that did wrong, but yet she's labeled, because it's like we go back to your words, a failure. Yeah, we go back. It's like she's the person, she failed. And so therefore, because you failed, that's contagious. So we can't have you over. We can't associate. We can't. As a matter of fact, you're not supposed to go out. We better not see you happy anywhere. I better not see you dancing on TikTok or anything. I better not see you happy anywhere. You're supposed to just look sullen and walk around sad and not enjoy anything. It's a label.
Yes, it is. And I would say that culling that happens when you lose friends in that manner is a blessing, because you figure out who is solid and who is loving and giving, and you figure out who is threatened by your new liberation. And I you know, what I'm casting onto the situation, let's say, not knowing what happened with this woman, but when there are people in fragile marriages, and statistically speaking, that's about 70%, when there are people in fragile marriages, they know that if they get around other people who have left bad marriages, it can be contagious, because they can realize that actually, you know, when they're put in front of a mirror saying, wow, this person made the decision or had the ability to break out of their situation, and here I am stuck in mine, unhappy. And I think it's a reflection on the person. If they were solid, if they were happy, they wouldn't have this threatened reaction to the divorce.
So you're saying that a person can be a divorce provoker if they go around fragile marriages? Is that what you're saying? So
I'm saying
that
statistically speaking,
one of the parties that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing will look and go like, well, let me see, are they happy? Do it. Yeah, I can see where, right? If somebody yawns, the other person wants to yawn too, kind of concept. If somebody sneezes, the other person thinks about sneezing, kind of concept. But overall, you've made a great deal of progress that you found parts of yourself that you didn't know existed, or you knew existed, or you felt trapped. What would you say? How would you describe it?
Well, you mentioned that earlier about being able to rediscover parts of myself, whereas I kind of saw it as being able to discover parts of myself.
Okay.
But you're right. I believe that I grew up in such a kind of a strict prescription on how I was meant to live that I never got to explore.
I said that to you from a father's perspective, more than just two adults talking. I'm just, again, everybody hears me say it 50 million times, but my children are kind of like my social scientist type of experiment and learning about people. As a woman, I have two grown adult daughters, and they're single, and I look at them and I think, the different situations or jobs that they had or people that they've been around, when they get around certain people, they really make them bloom. They get around others, they get suppressed. But then I see the same qualities naturally come out of them when they're over here with these other people. And it's kind of like that when I heard you saying that. And I look at your page, and I'll tell you, your bio really, when you sent me that email and that bio, I'm looking at it, I'm going like, there is no way this woman's divorced. I'm serious. I looked at the bio and I'm reading it, and the way you put it together, I'm going like, who in their right mind would not? Who doesn't want to be with this woman? What is? I'm weird. I don't go like, I don't. Some people go like, well, what's wrong with her? You know how people can be. Some people can be weird like that. But I'm looking at it and I'm going like,
I'll tell you what's wrong with me.
She got, wait. Stand in line. Mine is longer than yours. You gotta wait. It's like, I know all my imperfections, therefore I'm keeping myself safe from everybody. I'll stay over here all in my corner all by myself. But what I was gonna say is that your abilities and your talents are something that are getting a chance to bloom. And maybe, and it's just me, I'm just saying this, you can't slap me from there, so I can say it. You can cut me off, but you can't slap me. So you can't hit me, I'll do it for you. But what I was gonna say is that your talents and your abilities are something that these things don't happen overnight. Your perspectives and stuff like that, those things don't just happen because of a divorce. These are things these qualities that you have that are outstanding are things that this is who you were when you were a young person, when you were a teenager. When you were 16, to decipher different things that you saw in a picture of a guy that you would end up marrying, that you either did or didn't know, is totally unimportant right now. What's important right now is that you have the ability to make decisive decisions when you have all the facts. And then from there, you help other people. That's passed on to your daughters. They probably have it right now. It's just, if they're not put in an environment where it can bloom, they're stunted. But it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. The same thing with you. If you were put in a situation where it was a restrictive environment because of religious structure, by you exploring the culture of life, that kicks religious structure out of the way. They're like, well, wait a minute, this is how the world really is. And the same thing, and sometimes people, not necessarily you or me in this statement, but we can get in relationships that put us in situations where it's restrictive in the sense that not the person, but just the environment is not conducive to help us bloom. And if it's not conducive to help us bloom, I like what you said earlier in the other segment. You made it quite clear. Hey, we got to talk because we're gonna get a divorce. We need to talk. Like you said, many warnings ahead of time, because you're trying to refertilize. You're trying to put something in the soil to make this. Let's make this go. Let's make this go. But when people don't have the inside story and they're on the outside, they just immediately want to assume that, oh, they're getting a divorce and she must have did something wrong. And that's what I wanted to really address when it came to shame and guilt. people, what did you say? They don't want to talk about it, but that's exactly what you wanted to do, was talk about it. And so many women are in that position, or about to embark in that, down this journey, and they have no one to talk to. And I hope everybody gets a chance to reach out to Tiffany. She may have a different perspective and viewpoint than you, but don't we all? But there may be some tidbits of things that you say and put forth to individuals that may help them on their journey of rediscovering their self-esteem and holding on to their dignity as a woman, and holding on to something way more important than shame and guilt that can come about. Because now I got to ask you about something that is a really, really touchy subject to me, and that's being a non-custodial parent. We're not going to have a lot of time to touch on it, but I just wanted to, I just want people to know that I want to discuss this again with you another time, being a non-custodial parent. That subject in itself means a lot to me. I have a lot of clients that are in that position, and the horror stories. Divorce gives you horror stories in itself that people can. But when people toy with the children and the emotions of the mother and the children by using the courts or their nationality or a number of other things, it's quite pathetic. But it needs to be delved into and discussed, because a lot of people are dealing with this and they have no one to talk to. They just being told to suck it up, give in, don't fight for yourself, don't fight for the children. Just, it's for the best, do the. They get told all kinds of things. Non-custodial parent. You're a stay-at-home mom, and now you're a single mom. But the custody situation is really caused by a bunch of false accusations. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just, from what we talked about. Would that be a correct? Or if I'm wrong, correct me.
Yeah, that's the correct statement. I mean, the short story is I was stay-at-home mom for several years while building a business at nighttime while the children were sleeping, and their father had no interest. I mean, he didn't change a single diaper on my youngest daughter. And I think he, the only time he ever watched them alone was maybe once for 2 hours. So this kind of gives you the level of interest that he had in the children when we were together. And then when we split up, he continued to reside in Thailand while I lived in France, and I had sole custody of the children. And he could visit and talk to them and Skype whenever he wanted. And it was fine. They were okay. And then, when I started dating, that's when he decided to come straight back, fight for his place and fight for his children, and then proceeded to put false accusations in, and finally the one that stuck in order to get a judgment was the accusation of kidnapping to my sister's wedding in Malta. So so that was a big shock for me, and what you said is absolutely correct, in that the stigma and the pain of divorce is on one level. When you hit the children, good God.
Yeah.
I mean, you might as well rip somebody's heart out. Like, it's taking somebody, whether a woman, whether a man, it is that sacred bond you have with the children. And I absolutely think that parents should have equal rights. If both parents are good parents, they should have equal rights. They should have equal time, all of it. I'm for it. But this was an act of revenge to hurt me. And of course it hurt the children. But what to do at that point? That was my lowest, most painful point, was when I got the news of the court decision that he would get 70% time and I would get 30% time, which was unthinkable, absolutely unthinkable, considering that he had never actually watched the children himself before.
That's crazy.
And the courts saw that he lived in Thailand and that he was only recently it was just unthinkable. So I was in complete shock, and I think it was, you mentioned my mother, being there for me and having to live through this. I think it was probably as hard for my mother and my sister, if not harder for my mother, because you know, she's more sensitive, she's older. For her, I mean, it was like an unbearable shock. So I think she really hit, even, you know, physically in her health. For our whole family, it was an absolute,
I may have lost you there for a second. I may have lost you just for a second. You there?
about that. A
No, no
call
worries.
just came interrupted.
No worries. No
So,
worries. So it was almost an unbearable situation for your mom is pretty much where I kind of lost you. What else? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
and this tells you the connection that I have with my mom, because it was her calling just now. So,
Oh, that's just really cool.
yeah.
That is cool. That is cool.
So it was so painful. And then when he finally got the girls, you know, it was an immediate change of custody, and I was completely lost in shock. I didn't know what to, like, oh my gosh, now the girls have to go over to his house, and now he's keeping the girls at his house, and like, what's going on, you know? And then my youngest daughter was crying so much he had to bring her back.
Oh, wow.
So this was a tremendous amount of pain, and I think that that's where he actually really succeeded in, like, you know, his revenge was doing the unthinkable. But I told somebody this on a call yesterday or the day before. If I'd have known where I would be now, who I would be now, and how the girls are doing now back then, I would have been
different.
You know, fine. I would have been drinking champagne. I would have been happy. I would have been fine. Had I only had the crystal ball, because I was freaking out. I thought that my children were going to be damaged forever. You know, I thought that
right.
teach them and raise them. I thought, you know, all these horrible thoughts in my head, you know, about the dreams that I had of the way I wanted my children to live, the way I wanted to raise them, the things I wanted to teach them, gone. Well, you know, they've taken a different shape now, but they're fantastic, and we're fantastic. And those 30%, we fill them. We fill them with lots of wonderful activities, lots of hugs, lots of kisses, lots of talking. Those 30% have to be stretched out to be a lot more. So I'd say that my 30% are probably surpassing his 70%, because he's not actually using time.
Yeah. He's not spending the same amount of quality time that you do. And because of this is only California talking. By the way, can you still hear me? I don't know if I just lost you or not. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
I thought it was me. What I was gonna say is this is California looking at it from way over here. You're obviously an affectionate mom because you have affection for your mom. That means that there's affection coming from their aunt as well. Everyone's, in other words, so for me, it's kind of like affection to me means that you're concerned. Affection means more than just actually touching someone, that they can feel your affection just from the way you look at them and your tone of voice. It goes beyond just a hug. And the very way you're describing your 30%, the very way you're talking about your mom, and you mention your sister, your whole tone. Anybody want to watch this over and over? You can watch it. You see the same thing I'm seeing. I'm watching it from over here, way over here, many, many thousands of miles away from you. That you have affection for your mom, you have affection for your sister, but your children, get affection from all three of you. That outweighs anything that has transpired so far. And as I told you in the pre-show, first of all, they're two females. They're not boys. Boys are kind of matter of fact. They don't really wake up until they're probably past drinking age. But what I was going to say is, when they're your daughter's age, they are locked and loaded emotionally, and they recognize who has affection for them, not love. I mean, that's a word that they know to use, but a word. And I learned this from my children, and I didn't know this as a man, but I'm just saying, when it comes to divorce, the non-custodial parent, and that's the position you're in, will find out how much the degree and the intensity of the affection that their children have for them. They may not spend that much time together per se, comparison to the other, or it may be a joint custody, 50-50. But when you're the non-custodial parent, what you will receive more than the other parent will ever get is affection. If that child has affection for you. And it is obvious from the pre-show, when we did the pre-show, it is obvious, even when we're talking right now, that you have been receiving that affection. And you said a couple other things in the pre-show that you may forget, but I wrote down. I'm not going to talk about them. But it when you said it, I went like, oh my goodness, those girls have an affection for their mom. He has no idea about. He has no clue. They're living with him. Because women can do that. You know, women can do that. They can be with somebody and go like, I like this other person better. Guys can't pull that off. That's why boys, we're not that good at that. But your daughters have an affection for you, and that 30%. Would you say? You said that 30% is way more than his 70% custody.
Yeah,
because
I know it is.
Yeah,
I know it is because of how they talk to me. They say, mommy, we when we're sick, we want to be at your house because we know we're going to get taken care of, and we want to hang out with you. They want to spend time with me. They want to play games with me. They want to talk to me about their problems at school. They want to, they want to listen to share their favorite song with me. Every moment we have together is precious. And even when we get mad at each other, 10 minutes later,
it doesn't matter. It goes away. It goes away. And then when a female, younger adult.
I didn't understand.
That's my phone is talking to me now. Sorry. See, you started Siri in the other segment. Yeah, I know. We talked about Siri in the other segment. You'd have to watch it to know what we're talking about. Anyhow, but when it comes to affection, it is really care and concern. A female, a young child, a young girl at the age of 4 and 5 will figure that out real quick. Who cares for me here? Okay, they don't really know exactly how to describe it and say it, but they figure it out real quick. They go to school, they know real quick that these girls don't care about me, but these do, and this teacher does, and women pick it up real quick. Who cares? Who's concerned? Who's really listening to me? And who's interested in me? That's why I told you in the other segment, when a man is not interested, it means he doesn't like you. He can say love all he wants, but it's a lie. If he's not interested means he literally hears you. And that's what you've been doing with them. You are not just interested as their mom in biological aspect, or with your mom or your sister. They know they have a wall of people that care about them, and they're not living with them. That's a problem that he's going to be addressing. And we talked about this. It's coming his way. It's a wave. It's coming his way. He's got to make up his mind. Do I let him go back? Because they will become some of the most uncooperative people. A woman will be, not just your children.
Oh, yeah.
Any female, if they get a whiff that you're not interested in me, I will be so uncooperative, you have no idea how I won't cooperate with you. And so that's coming his way, and that 70% will be some of the most painful. He was better off 100% with you and keeping everything together and doing whatever you say than taking 70, not being with you, and having 70% control of the children. Because that 70% it will mess him up the rest of his days. It will when they're ready to go to college, when they're going to get married, he can walk them down the aisle and she will still be a little different with him, because that memory is there in the subconscious of what you put mom through. You know what I mean? Because so they want to.
I'm not going to forget the stuff.
Oh no.
He's no. And they love him. Of course, they love him.
Yes, of course.
They know that there's some things that are just not right, and sometimes people are not acting like adults, and they call them out.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, and wait, they're not gonna stop. It's not gonna get less. They're gonna do it more and more as they get older, become more self-aware and aware of their environment. I'm gonna segue to something here. I'm gonna move to something here. You said there was a point in the pre-show we were talking about a number of different things, but this is my last bit of notes. So if anybody ever wondering, these are the notes on the discussion. We talked more than this, but this is my last bit down here and hopefully you can't read that because I'm going to read it to you now. It says that's good. That's good. I like that. I like that. Not because I want control, because that's overrated, by the way. It says I don't have control over this show. I just do this to hopefully get information out to people. And here we go, some information from you. It says you are not allowed to be happy. You said that actually twice. I wrote it down. You said it twice. And I was gonna pick up on it, and I think I immediately, I think that was the moment I went like, okay, time out. I do that in the pre-show, just in case you're wondering to come on the show. Okay, I don't want to know anymore. I wanted to like tear that open. What do you mean that you are not allowed to be happy because you know, going through a divorce and so forth?
Yeah, that is a good one. Oh my gosh, you know, I was thinking.
I know. I got some side notes. Go ahead.
I think. Well, okay, I'm going to go on my rant about the Western world again.
Okay. Go ahead.
We've just plain forgotten how to let loose, how to laugh, how to dance, how to like just hug people, how to, of course it's COVID, but you know, even before then, like, just forgotten how to live and be joyful like children. So first of all, that's our problem. But then we get into this tragedy mode of like, oh, somebody's having a tragedy, and don't anybody smile, don't anybody crack a joke. Let's make sure that everybody's very, very somber about this entire thing. And if somebody's going through a divorce, well, they're probably going to be tragic through the entire, however, 6 months to 6 years. On my part.
I don't even want it. Yeah, your 6 years. That's just like. Well, let alone your in-laws, which were 15 years. That's a whole nother story. Yeah. But so everybody's supposed to be tragic, somber. Yeah.
But people don't want to laugh or invite you out dancing, or hey, let's get together and have a glass of wine and sing, and you know, whatever silly thing we're going to do. Right. It's just like people not wanting to talk to you. When you are in the depths of despair, in the dark night of the soul.
Right.
The last thing you need is to decide that you can't be happy because it would be inappropriate.
Yes.
You know, like, or people have to be very morose and moody around you because they have to feel your pain for you. It's so destructive to me, because I would go through these days, you know, where like I'd be in bed. And I had a hard time just like wanting to do anything at all. I'd be in bed, and then all of a sudden I would have a moment of levity where I would just say, you know what? I'm still alive, and I still like music, and I still like silly things, and I would just watch a comedian put on some music and dance because I needed to. Right. I needed to for my own mental and emotional well-being. That's what we need. We need to laugh. We need to remember that life is still beautiful and life is still enjoyable, and reach up those moments, spiral up to the next best thing, the next best feeling. We can't.
Oh, I kind of lost her there. Oh, you got it back. You're coming back, I think. Yeah. Well, hold on in here for a second.
My camera reset.
No worries. I think you're going to be coming back here for a second. We hope.
Yeah. Can you see me?
I can't see you, but I can hear you. So let me see.
I can see you okay.
You can? Okay. Yeah. Well, then you know what? Just keep talking then. We'll just see how this all turns out. Because right now I can't see you. But I don't know if I need to. Hold on one second.
I'm going to comment on here and let's see if you can see that. Because, you still can't see my image?
Hold on. I can't see your image, but I see that you wrote something there. So let's do, it's still circling, so I don't know whether it's trying to get your image or not. I have no idea. Let's do that. Okay. So why don't you go ahead and keep talking? People have to be stuck with me. Maybe. Okay. Thank you for telling us. You can see, but it's just on my end then that I don't have the honor and privilege to see you at this point. But go ahead and keep going. Hopefully your image will come back. Are you still there?
Yeah, so I'm still here, and just on the topic of joy, it's just kind of an education that we need to have about mental health and well-being, period. I mean, when you're depressed, it doesn't mean that you're in bed in your pajamas for a straight week. It probably means you have a couple bad days, then you have a good day. Then you get more bad days, and then you have a good day. And when you do have a good day, or when that inspiration strikes where you can feel a little bit better and enjoy life, take a joyride out in the countryside and nature and do it. And don't feel bad about something, and don't feel bad about being joyful, even if you've just received the news, 5 days ago that you've lost custody of your children, because you have to have something to live for, something to enjoy. And not only that, but you think your children are going to want to spend time with you if you're all depressed and morose.
That's right. That's what I thought of too.
Happy about being back at your house with you when you're crying, and which is what I felt like doing, but you have to create the joy in your home. And we've created that environment where it's not joyful all the time, but we definitely have joyfully planned moments where we as a family can just celebrate being alive together.
And actually, the children, as I play around here with my screen, because I can't have your picture and it's driving me crazy. But anyhow, what I was going to say is what we often run into is the children need to have a place that gives them a sense of emotional stability. We can't assume that wherever they are that they're getting some type of emotional stability or the ability for them to vent emotionally. So if they are coming to be with us as a non-custodial parent, and all they get is how we're either extremely in this depth of depression, then that's going to create an emotional roller coaster for them that they don't need to be on, because they're already on one. They're already on one because of the divorce. So you're not being allowed to be happy. Did that really come from people that were close to you, or people that didn't know you?
Well, of course, nobody's gonna, come to you and say, hey, you're not allowed to, you're not allowed to be happy. You're not allowed to smile. But it's in people's reaction. When they come and talk to you, they say, oh, hey, are you okay? How are you? Like the tone is like, it's like they're suffering as much as you are, if not more. And to me, it was almost like, hey, like I'm the one that's suffering. Why are you? You being romantic to be like
why are you bummed out?
Yeah, but it was just like I understand it. I mean, they want me to know that they care, but they're also telling me how I should feel by being all morose. If I were to then respond by saying, oh, actually today was a good day, then they might be, shocked, and then it would like throw the whole relationship off balance. So I think that what was really helpful were the friends that were just like, hey, what's going on? How are you doing? What's happening in your life? Like, treating me like a normal human being, because that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a normal human being, like just being me, not being the divorce war hero and the suffering single mother. I just wanted to be Tiffany.
Right. And at some point, did you start recognizing that Tiffany came out? By the way, I am going to be looking this way. And I kind of got you right here on my other thing, and so I'm just going to be doing both. This is a first, by the way, which I'm going to have fun with it, because hey, this is not like some big production studio. I'm not Walt Disney. I just go with the flow. So what I was going to say, are you still there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you fine.
So at what point did it seem like Tiffany was gonna be Tiffany?
When I decided not to pay any mind to what was going on externally.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm cheating when I say that, actually, because I had moved to another country. I was in France. I didn't really know many people here, barely at all. So, and I was out in the country. So for me to remove myself out of society's networks and situations, for the most part, was relatively easy, which for me was a blessing, because I got that cut for me to be able to prevent myself. I understand that it's much more difficult when you're already, entrenched with your friends and your family, and they're expecting you to be a certain way. But when you've when you've been in a situation like mine where you have been dragged through the mud and everything that you've built has been, you know, arsoned to the ground.
Yeah.
So it's so painfully liberating because you don't have any of those structures to go by anymore, you know? It doesn't matter how good of a person you are or how sweet or kind you are. It's
Yeah.
so then I got to explore, like, you know, is it wrong to want a career and be a mother? Is it wrong to want to be ambitious and be a mother? Is it wrong to set up boundaries, not answer people
Right.
and unfriend
Yeah.
people?
Right.
I don't have time anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of these liberations that happened that allowed me to blossom into the person that I've become, because all those little rules and regulations were swept away.
And it helps you to find your space to be you. It helps you by going to a whole nother environment where you're able to make had new choices, and you had new decisions to make that would be the platform for when your daughters return.
Right.
Not just to visit, not to visit, because whether your ex knows it or not, they want to be with you, whether he agrees with it or not. They
Right.
know that you care for them from a distance, and they know that care would be even deeper and more intense if they were living with you day to day. So you know, it's going to happen. I said that to you during the pre-show prep, and then when I got done talking to you, I thought to myself, I said, "Wow, she's going to really think I'm crazy that I was just like, man, your kids are going to live with you. I just know it's going to happen. It's just like, whether you remember it or not, but it's
Yeah.
the way you are." Your character as a woman, as a person, who you are, they are drawn to that more than he ever was, and that's the gift that you're going to give back. That out of the entire relationship, the two prizes out of it are going to be returned to you. The two trophies of life's creation are going to be returned to you, and they're going to be there for you through thick and thin as time goes on. Disagreements or not, that happens with us and our children. But as a non-custodial parent, your
Yeah.
your job is just beginning. Your job is just beginning, because when you're going to have to deal with them day to day, you're going to have to explain to them what a good boy is and a good man is, and you're going to be warning them all the time, and that's where your fun's going to begin, because they're going to go like, "Well, Mom, he's so cute," and you got
Yeah.
to be going back and forth, and you're going to have to tell them the truth.
Started. I might send them to you for some lessons, but you know,
Oh, hey, I'll be happy to enlighten any female. I still do it with my daughter's friends. So it's like, hey, it's not what you think. You know, as I say about cute, as we get away from divorce, my soapbox for a moment. Cute is what puppies are, and you still have to pick up after them. So don't get fooled by a cute boy. It's just a ploy. That's just the way they look when they leave the house. You know how you do a puppy. They make them look nice, but you still got to put them on a leash because they get out of control. You know, so they have to be trained. But your daughters are going to be a great sense of joy for you and accomplishment, and they're going to feel really good watching their mom be the best that she can be in business, in her personal life, and in your endeavors. You're going to be one of a kind. And again, for everybody wondering why I'm looking up and then looking down, is because I can't see her picture there, and I can see you down here in that big, bright, beautiful smile of yours. Your daughters are going to make that smile go wrap around your face when they come live with you, and it's going to be recognized by all that you are an exceptionally great mom, and that your mom did the best that she could, and she was there for you, and that they have an amazing aunt that's going to be there. They got the support of some strong women who will not tolerate any mess, and they're going to be fruits off the same tree. They're going to be just like you, and that's going to be something that he's going to have to contend with, and everything's going to work out smoothly because I said so. Because I said so. It's just got to be. It's just got to be. It's
yeah,
just got to be. I used to say that when I was once a non-custodial parent, and I had to go get custody of my children, but it was like, it's just got to turn out right. It's just got to turn out right. So it's got to be, because you're a good-hearted woman, very strong person, and your
Your page is From Divorce to Destiny. Please
Mhm.
get a chance to take a look at it. By no means, like all of my guests, I say this too, and I mean it. I am not done with you. There are much more that we're going to be able to talk about, and we'll get a chance to talk about and put some things together concerning non-custodial parents, and some thoughts that you had on that that I found interesting that I haven't told you about. You decided to choosing to being happy. It is very important to choose to be happy when you have to go through a divorce. And
Hmm.
it's very important that when you're the non-custodial parent, that a person is ready mentally, emotionally, physically, yes, and
Hmm.
spiritually, to be ready to take care of supporting their children when their children need that emotional support. One of the greatest things that happen to a child during a divorce is that they are not able to have emotional stability. And you are a woman who gives forth emotional stability, not just to people that you don't know, but without a doubt, you do your best to make sure to give it to people that you love and care for. So you need to go call your mom, since she was trying to call you, and I was interrupting that. A bad boy me is interrupting that with this live that we're talking about divorce. But your children are. I can't wait to hear more stories about you both being together. And let me put this up here. Everybody keeps thinking, why does his head keep dropping? Because I'm looking at her over here, and I'm talking to her over here because we got technical stuff that didn't cooperate. Um, if you had to say two things that people need to keep in mind that they could take away from some of the things you talked about today, what could be two of the things they need to keep in mind when it comes to divorce?
Yeah, so I would start with custody because custody is not won in the courtroom. It is, but it isn't where it really counts. Custody is won in the heart.
Good
Uh,
point. Good point.
and I heard that before. I didn't get it. Now it's 100%
Yeah,
my
yeah.
story.
It's true. It is true
100%.
though. Yeah, yeah,
And the second thing is, we need to get over the guilt, shame, and failure story and realize that
yeah,
divorce, yes, it's an ending, and it's also a beginning, and it's a catalytic, wonderful space
yeah,
to be in, because this is how many times in your life do you get a blank slate or a nearly blank
yeah,
slate?
yeah,
This is one of those moments you have where you just get to create. And if you don't take the opportunity to take that time to reflect and to really blossom into who you can be,
yeah,
you're missing out. There's a lot of fuel
yeah,
behind,
yeah,
a lot of fuel behind a recreation and a rising. That's why I chose the phoenix
yeah.
for my emblem, because that's what we are. Is when you choose yourself to rise and be happy. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
the phoenix.
You have definitely uh, made your way through life and through difficult situations, and now you're giving words that can help a lot of people. But I don't think your mission, without a doubt, is done not just with your children, but with helping other people. So everyone, please get a chance to take a look at Tiffany's page. Tiffany, you're a tough woman, and you have a strong measure of endurance within you. And we're not done talking. We're going to get a chance to do some more in a couple of days, hopefully. Run some things by you for you to give some thought to. We could do in the future in regards to being the non-custodial parent.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna call it quits right now in regards to this time frame that we're talking, but we're gonna do more. But everyone, please keep in mind that when a divorce happens, uh, a woman needs support. She doesn't need to be further isolated because no one's there to help
Yeah.
her with things around the house, a broken screen door, groceries, the car needs a tune-up. There's a number of things, but more importantly, she needs to be listened to. Everybody does, first of all. We know that's on the table. But when someone's going through an emotional roller coaster like a divorce, especially when they find themselves being this innocent person trapped into a situation that now they need to make a break from, they need support. They don't need to be pushed aside. So, hey, I got to run, got to go, only for now. I wish you the best until I talk to you again. And enjoy France. And from California to France, thank you so much for this morning for me, but nighttime for you.
Yeah, the sun's
Okay.
going down. So
Okay, all right. All right. Yeah.
Everyone,
You too.
I send
You
you
take
all
care. Yes.
Thank
you. You send in big hugs. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you soon, my friend. Take care. Be safe now. Thank you for everything. Bye. Bye in both places. Just saying bye to you there. I'll see you later. Bye.